All right, what's going on, folks? It's your friendly neighborhood old soldier coming at you today from Robeson County, North Carolina, where it got hot today. Out there using my brush cutter, didn't it? Took a lot out of me. So I want to do a real quick video on a couple tools that you always need to have, and you need to have them if you like to camp, hike, hunt, fish, or you find yourself even if you find yourself in a situation that you find yourself on foot, and you need to, one, know where you're going, or at least what direction, and two, how far you're going, or how far you have traveled. In order to do that, you're going to need a couple things, okay? At a minimum, a compass, if you don't know how to tell the cardinal directions by using the sun, or if it's nighttime, or if it's cloudy, okay? Now, this is a military lensetic, okay? All right. You don't have to get one this fancy. Just if you just say you need to go north, northeast, northwest, southwest, southeast, southeast, or west, whatever the case may be. But I'd highly recommend that you get yourself a compass, put it in your bug out, get home, stay safe, get where you're going to a live bag, whatever you want to call it, for whatever situation you might find yourself in, okay? The other one, and you don't have to get this one like I got. These are what we call, when I was in the Army, we called them ranger beads. How do they work? All right. You got your top ones, you got your bottom ones, and I had one broke off, so you're supposed to have at least 4 up here, 4 kilometers. But anyway, for every 100 meters you traveled, slide one down. 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800. 900, and then when you get to 1,000, you pull this one down. Now it lets me know I've traveled 1 kilometer. So now I can pull this back up and I start again on down the line until I get to 2 kilometers, 3 kilometers, 4. Now when you get beyond 4 kilometers, you got to start keeping mental track. Okay, I've done 4 kilometers, so now I'm resetting. Okay, you can take a piece of string. Like here on this compass, you get your lanyard, but you just shoelace, paracord, and for every 100 meters you travel, you make a single knot, okay? Make a single knot. And so now you get up to you're getting ready to come up to your 1,000 meters. Somewhere else on the line, you designate as your kilometer, your mile line. And you tie that off. That's the other thing I want to talk to you about. Navigation and standards of measurement. Unless you've been in the military, or maybe even law enforcement to some extent, your chances are you're not used to using meters or kilometers. Now, I could be wrong. But the majority of Americans travel with feet, yards, and miles. They don't know what a click is to save their life. What I would advise you to do is learn how to navigate in meters and kilometers. Because if you find yourself in a situation where you're in dire need of being rescued, or something really drastically hits the fan, and they call out, say, the National Guard to aid and assist, they're going to be more prone than that to navigate in meters and kilometers. It's just the nature of the beast. And again, for every 1,000 meters you traveled, you've gone 1 kilometer, okay? But if you are insistent on sticking to yards and miles, or if you learn to use kilometers and meters, you're going to have to develop what's called a pace count, all right? Let me back to my back certain. Pace count is where you find yourself and you mark off 100 meter or 100 yards, and you walk at a comfortable pace with a comfortable stride. Don't over-exaggerate and don't shortchange it. And you need to do it on fairly level ground. And there's several methods. I prefer the one-leg method. You're like, one-leg method? What are you going to do, hop all the way to the end? No. you start walking and say every right foot you count or every left foot you count. And when you get to the 100 meter, 100 yard mark, how many every times you stepped, it lets you know you've traveled 100 meters or 100 yards. And the reason I say meters and yards because there's only a 3-inch difference between a meter and a yard. So the two are roughly comparable. The difference being is a kilometer is easier to calculate when you've traveled a kilometer than it is a mile. Because a mile being 5,280 feet. Now you convert that to yards, you go right ahead. But anyway. So knowing how to do that, if you find yourself in a situation that you know you need to get from point A to point B, and you can look on a map and you can measure the distance and you can see the straight line distance, or you know how to measure the travel distance based on streets, avenues, whatever, you know. And there's ways to do that on a map. One day I'll show you how to do that as well. But let's just say you've got to get from point A to point B, town A to town B, and you know it's straight line distance of 7 kilometers looking on a military map. You know that your page count is 52 steps for every 100 meters. Gives you some idea of how long it will probably take you to get there. And it'll give you a way of tracking and measuring so you know when and where you're getting to. Or if you can look on a map and know, you say you're in the woods and you see a clearing that you need to get to so you can get to where rescuers can find you. Or you've got radio contact with rescuers you're looking for. You've got a map, they've got a map. You can tell them this clearing at XYZ coordinates, and I'm 6 kilometers out. I'm traveling west, and blah, 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 blah. The real gist of all this too tonight is, folks, you got to learn how to navigate. You got to learn how to navigate. You know, a few videos back, you know, I talked about getting maps of your area, given on what's going on right now. You really need to. You really need to get maps of your area. You need to, and kids, I'll tell you this again, all you youngsters that might be watching this channel. These electronic gizmos, if what I think is going to happen is eventually going to happen, there'll be a lot of satellites knocked out of the air. All your little GPS and electronic gadgetry is going to be worthless as tits on a boar hog. All right? Learn to do some things the old-fashioned way if you don't already know how. This right here is a gazetteer for an atlas and gazetteer for North Carolina. I've still got to order the adjacent ones for South Carolina, Virginia, and Tennessee, and Georgia. I like this because it's also got the lat and longs on here. All right. Item 1. Showed you my compass, my pace count cord, and like I said, you don't have to order one of these fancy Ranger ones. You can make one out of some paracord and some beads from your local craft store. There, you know, and if you're, you know, I think the Boy Scout stores used to carry something similar with one of the merit badges. You know, you can make one. Okay. Now, I've also got, get you a good map case, like right here. See, got a plastic cover for when to take dry erase markers. And put an overlay. I could put it right here. These are maps that I got through my state geological survey that covers some of my area, like where I live in the town of Parkton. Now, mind you, it says 1972 was when it was photo revised again in 1982. So this map is probably a little off, but it's still enough, accurate enough for the things I need it to do. Okay? If, for say example, I wanted to know exactly where the town of Parkton is, right here, and it shows me all the major roads that come into the town, railroads, power lines, things of that nature, bodies of water, swampy areas, high ground, low ground. How can I tell high ground and low ground? Contour lines, okay? They go up in elevation, right? And roughly around here, there's not very much high ground. It's honestly, it's flat. And one thing my dad said about living on this end of North Carolina that he didn't like was that when you peed on the ground, it puddled up. We're growing up in Tennessee, you peed on the ground, it rolled downhill in any given direction. That was just, I don't know, the quirk of my daddy. But I got these maps, each sheet for less than $8 a piece, I think, when I ordered them. And again, I plan on going back and ordering some more. Now, the drawback to these don't work very well with your standard military protractor, because you need a protractor when you want to start determining grid coordinates. So I had to order one right here that had a 1/24,000 scale. So I ordered this one because I can use it on a 1/24,000 map, okay, 1/50,000, a 1/100,000, and a 1/10,000. And if you're wondering what that means, what that stands for, and 1/25,000, okay, which 1/25,000 is your standard. Most of them, your military map's either going to be 1/50 or 1/25,000. That is what it looks like from above at a certain distance. Okay, that's your ratio when you're looking down. If you say you're up in a plane looking down, 25,000 feet, 50,000 feet, 100,000 feet, etc., so forth, so on. All right, map, topographical representation, portion of the Earth's survey shown from above. God, I can't believe that. Or remember that, excuse me. Used to have to answer that kind of stuff on military promotion boards. What is a map? Geographic representation, portion of the Earth's surface, as shown from above, drawn to scale. First hearted. But anyway, that's for you, Brother Kyle. Just some little tips I wanted to share with you tonight. Why? I took a little road trip today to test my navigational knowledge without use of GPS. I did fairly well, I think. Doing some mounted land nav. That's what we used to call it in the military, mounted land nav. Okay. And the other reason you want to get these things, everything I've talked about, everything about networking, preparing, these maps will give you an idea of certain things that are of value, that you can mark, that you can establish coordinates to from where you're at. You can establish routes of ingress and egress to and from certain points and areas. You can establish places where you want things to be. You can establish places that you know that you can keep things from happening. If you follow my meaning. Tomorrow, I'm going to close this one out. Tomorrow, I'm going to do a video on baking soda. I don't know why we don't want baking soda. You're going to teach us to cook? No. But if you find yourself in a situation with no toothpaste, no deodorant, baking soda is a good alternative. So we'll talk about that tomorrow at length. And if you want some good information on other uses of baking soda, I highly suggest you go check out Uncle Al's channel, DieBullFrog79. He's got some real good stuff. And I'm going to close this out with a real quick shout out to some very special people tonight. And that is the folks at Oakwood Homes of Fayetteville. I want to give a special shout out to Brett, Chris, Brandon, and Mr. Bill Milligan, to Noah, to Kim, and all the staff there, and Kevin, their service manager at Oakwood Homes of Fayetteville, North Carolina, for not only our first home, but when we came to them, when our home was hit and burnt, they sat down with us, and even with everything going on and the delays of getting it, you know, they made sure our home what we wanted. And we're grateful to them. We look at them as like they're our family, extended parts of our family. They really went out of their way to make sure we were happy and we were satisfied with our new home. And I just wanted to give them a very, very special shout out. If you live in my area and you're looking to buy a home, you've got the property or you don't have the property, they get deals where you'll sell a home with a piece of property. But check them out, Oakwood Homes of Fayetteville. Go down and ask for Brett, Chris, Noah, any of them, and they will be glad to sit down and go over all the options they have available, what help you see what you qualify for, and they will walk you through the entire process, and they will stay with you every step of the way from the time they break ground to the time that they give you the keys. So I just wanted to share that with you, folks. And until tomorrow, my friends, God bless. Stay safe, stay vigilant, stay armed. Keep your eyes open, ears to the ground. Keep your neck on a swivel. Watch out for one another, and just be prepared, folks. God bless. Take care. So drought.